Winnie the Pooh.
Does Winnie the Pooh actually have anything valuable to say about treating or supporting people with mental or emotional disorder?
You sure you won't have any more?
Is there any more?
Oh, a very big waterfall.
Please, no interruptions.
Happy Wednesday, or?
Thanks for noticing me.
In some cases, the internet got it right, and in some cases, they were way off.
I'm intrigued because I know that there is a difference, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, the wonderful thing about Jonos, and Jonos' wonderful things. Our heads are made of rubber, our tails are made of springs. We're bouncy, 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 and fun, 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 fun. Most wonderful thing about Jonos is that I'm the only one. I'm the only one. Today, we're going to be doing Winnie the Pooh. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is...
Alan C. Wright, professional filmmaker. Need therapy.
Oh, has anyone seen his tail? So all over the internet, you see armchair psychologists diagnosing Winnie the Pooh characters. Everybody's got an opinion.
You've got a psychology degree.
I do.
You're in an armchair.
Listen, but I'm actually
You're actually
therapist.
professional. I forgot.
What I want to explore is how accurate are all of these assessments and diagnoses done online?
Yeah.
Does Winnie the Pooh actually have anything valuable to say about treating or supporting people with mental or emotional disorder?
Interesting.
And I will go ahead and say, in some cases, the internet got it right, and in some cases, they were way off.
No.
You don't say. So let's start with Pooh Bear himself.
Okay. What does the internet say about Pooh Bear?
We'll see.
Other than he's cuddly. I would cuddle the shit
Honey.
out of the bear, by the way.
So Pooh ate and 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 ate.
The second to last one, he's just like drinking it like an alcoholic.
In a rather sticky voice.
I must be going now. Goodbye, rabbit.
Well, goodbye. You sure you won't have any more?
Oh dear.
Is there any more?
No, there isn't.
I thought not.
He was so disappointing to 6-year-old me that that's not how honey works.
I thought the same thing.
I want honey to be like that.
Oh, well, it all comes from eating too much.
Have a gob all over your hand and face. And just...
Okay, so what does the internet say is Pooh Bear's issue?
Well, a lot of people say he has a low IQ, which may be true.
Possible.
You see a lot of people saying he has binge eating disorder because of just how much he ate in this clip. Like, he just didn't stop.
I mean, he housed like 6 or 7 entire jars of honey.
So binge eating disorder is, in a short amount of time, eating considerably more than an average person would.
Okay.
But the fact is, who hasn't done that?
Yeah, no, dude, I get home from a hike and I'll put down like 3 hamburgers because I'm a freaking monster.
And me at the Asian buffet, I'm basically Homer Simpson. Like, they won't let me come back.
Hey, Homer, slow down. You're gonna choke or something.
But that's not binge eating disorder. If for it to be a disorder, it has to be a habitual pattern.
Okay.
It has to happen a certain number of times within a short period of time.
Okay.
And just like any disorder, it actually has to get in the way of your functioning, your living. Now, in Pooh's case, he is stuck in the door. So,
yeah. And he does seem to spend an inordinate amount of his life just thinking about honey.
Right. Well, listen, that's more of an obsession.
Okay.
Because
that's a whole other thing we need to treat.
Getting stuck in the door, that's the cartoon side of this. And another big part of binge eating disorder is the associated shame.
Sure.
That people feel ashamed about it, embarrassed about it, that they want to hide it, they don't want people to know.
Pooh does not have that.
Pooh has no shame.
None.
He is a shameless...
Is there any more?
I am short, fat, and proud of that.
He doesn't experience shame. We don't have any indicator that this is a habitual pattern. This is definitely a binge eating episode.
Sure.
But I don't know that it fully qualifies as the disorder. So... I'm on the fence. The signs are there, but I don't know that I would fully give the diagnosis.
It might just be an availability thing. Like, if he had 7 jars of honey every day, would he eat 7 jars of honey every day?
Now, there are indicators that he probably would.
Yeah.
Because we see when he's up in the beehive that he immediately starts gorging himself again.
Yeah.
So
he has not learned his lesson, and his lesson finished literally 30 seconds ago. Hey, you know where our 100 Acre Wood friends could have gone for their actual diagnosis?
Think. Christopher Robin.
I'm not sure. a fictional child is qualified.
Oh, bother. Therapy?
Yes, but there can be a lot of hesitation to start therapy.
It's true. In a recent survey from today's sponsor, BetterHelp, they found that 76% of people believe mental health care can help, but so many hold back because of the stigma.
BetterHelp connects you to a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice.
To get started, click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy.
And fill out the questionnaire to assess your specific needs.
You'll get matched with a therapist in most cases in 48 hours or less.
BetterHelp has a network of over 30,000 therapists with a wide range of expertises.
And they're committed to helping you find a therapist who's a good fit for you.
So you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost if the one you're first matched with isn't the best fit.
You can also choose a time that's convenient for your therapy sessions.
And you can choose how you want to do your therapy sessions.
A phone call, a video chat, or even via messaging.
How about if I'm stuck with my head poking out of a rabbit hole, or stuck with my head poking into a tree?
I mean, if you have a cell signal, I guess.
Great, it's so convenient and personalized. I can even talk while I'm eating honey.
Honey.
It really helps overcome a lot of the barriers that many people face when they're starting therapy.
Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life.
If you think that you might benefit from therapy, click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/cinematherapy.
You'll get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a licensed therapist and see if this helps you. So how can you help and support someone diagnosed with binge eating disorder whose friends have ideas? But their whole thing is mind over matter, Pooh. Basically starve yourself out of this. So he doesn't eat for days, is their solution.
There he goes!
He's sailing clean out of the book. Quick, turn the page.
The conceit of all the storybook stuff is so well realized in this movie.
Talk again.
So to the point we just made, here he is.
Get you out.
No hurry. Take your time. Yum, yum.
Okay, it's not even 30 seconds, guys.
Honey, and I'm a Pooh Bear.
At some point he's gonna run out of oxygen in there. There are several ways Pooh could die in this circumstance. But their idea is that he just needs to starve himself. Which in a real case of binge eating disorder would be the opposite of what you want to do, because then they're going to gorge again because they're so famished. People need nutrients.
Your brain runs on glucose. For simple cognitive functions, you need them.
As with most mental and emotional disorders, the best way to be supportive is to, one, rely on a trained professional for the actual mental and emotional disorder component of things.
Sure.
People need love, they need support, but they also need a specialist, because a specialist is going to help with what's at the root, what's driving the behavior, right? What itch are you trying to scratch? What emotion are you trying to deal with or process or escape from through the eating? What friends and family can do, first of all, don't shame. I feel like Pooh would feel shamed by his friends because of the things they say and do if he
was capable of feeling shame.
If he was capable of feeling shame.
Which he does not seem to be.
Which he does not seem to be. So don't shame them, don't judge them. And it's all about healthy replacements. So if I indulge in binge eating to deal with depression or anxiety, what's a healthy replacement that will also help me to manage those feelings? That's the advice that I would give for that type of support. My gosh, Pooh. Did you say I would cuddle the honey out of that bear?
Cuddle the
honey
out of that bear.
Honey.
Cuddle him so hard. Snuggles.
Next is Owl, who the internet says has narcissistic personality disorder. Let's see if that's the case.
I think that may be a stretch.
Oh, Al, I don't mean to complain.
So he does go to help, but then they're in dire need. There's a crisis.
Chin up and all that sort of thing. A rescue is being thought of.
Be brave, little piglet.
It's awfully hard to be.
You could help now.
When you're such a small animal.
You're an owl.
You can pick him up and fly away.
Unfortunate predicament. I shall tell you an amusing anecdote. It concerns a distant cousin of mine who became so frightened during a flood that he...
I beg your pardon, Al, but I think we're coming to a a very big waterfall.
Please, no interruptions.
Oh my gosh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Save that little pig! Oh my gosh. There are rocks down there.
Well, the good news is they're stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Ah, there you are, Pooh Bear. Now, to continue my story.
Okay, I love that the casting decision for this was most British person ever.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Lovely.
Cheerio and all that.
Most amusing anecdote. Impeccable.
So on the surface, Al doesn't seem to be a narcissist because he's not talking about himself.
Right.
He doesn't share stories about how great he is. He doesn't talk about how he's more intelligent than everybody else, how everyone needs to just listen to him because he's got all the solutions. Yeah. He's like, a plan is being thought of. And he only really ever talks about his relatives. In my opinion, though, there's some nuance here. It's narcissism by association. There are several scenes where he talks about his noble heritage, he talks about his family, and he assumes that because he is of this group, that he is superior to everybody else. Mm-hmm. So while he's not outwardly self-obsessed, he's talking about others, it's still all roads lead to him. It's this grandiosity of him and his family tree. And then where you really see it is in the behavior. He demands to be heard and listened to. Yep. Please don't interrupt. Piglet's fighting for his silly life.
Why are we swearing so much?
I don't know.
Because it's funny. That's why.
Piglet's fighting for his life, and you're like, don't interrupt, right? Why? Devoid of empathy or genuine concern for others.
Sure.
Like, he goes because they tell him to go, and it's just kind of like something to do. Go tell them that a plan's being formed. Oh, sure. But he doesn't actually help.
Right.
He doesn't pay attention to the distress or the fear or the sadness or whatever's going on with anyone around him. He demands to be the center of attention.
Yep.
And he demands special treatment. Because I can guarantee you, like, if Al's wings were broken and if he were going over a waterfall, he wouldn't stand for, Al, just sit there and listen to my story.
Oh, no.
Al would be like, no, you got to save my ass. Yeah, we are swearing a lot this episode. I'll rein it in. It's fun, though.
It's fun.
He doesn't quite meet all the criteria in the DSM-5 for narcissistic personality disorder, but this isn't a very long movie, and he's not the central character.
Yeah.
So
give it time.
Yeah, give it. It looks like probably, possibly. All right, next, Piglet. People claim that he has generalized anxiety disorder. Let's take a look.
And what do you think you will answer yourself?
I'm unraveling.
Okay, that actually sounds like anxiety. I'm unraveling.
Close one.
Hang on tight, Piglet.
Oh dear.
Okay, so Piglet does infamously have a mild speech impediment.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that, but he does.
Yeah. A little bit of a stutter. That's fine.
Happy Wednesday, Kanga. Happy Wednesday, Roo.
Can I fly, Piglet, next, Pooh? Dear.
There's aspects of this that are far darker when you're an adult and you realize, like, can I fly, Piglet?
Help! Somebody save me!
Oh.
Happy Wednesday, Eeyore!
Thanks for noticing me.
Okay, we'll get to Eeyore in a minute. Piglet does react with anxiety and fear to things like being carried away by the wind or losing his house in a natural disaster.
Those are things you should be anxious about if they happen to you.
Piglet is a little bit anxious and fearful.
I don't know that I'd even describe him as anxious. Maybe a little, like, sort of nebbishy?
Nebbishy? What does that even mean? Can we have someone on screen? What is that?
It's just sort of an uptight kind of nerd.
Like, he worries, he fears, he's a little skittish. But to actually be generalized anxiety disorder, it has to be persistent. It has to be something where he can't really function, or it impedes his ability to function in his friendships, in his work.
Well, and that's what makes it disordered, right?
Right.
A little bit of anxiety about things is normal. Some things are scary.
Yes. So this is why it's important not to pathologize normal human emotions or rush to diagnose things that aren't really disorders. I mean, sure, Piglet is anxious sometimes and prone to worry. But we see that most of the time he's friendly, he's happy, he's calm. So to qualify for the disorder, the anxiety has to be excessive. It's got to be challenging to control, and it's got to be accompanied by symptoms like restlessness, irritability, difficulty concentrating. It doesn't have any of that.
I don't see any of that.
Because the fact is, and you've heard me say this, every diagnosis in the DSM-5, or almost every diagnosis in the DSM-5, is a normal human experience or emotion dialed up to an 11.
Just disordered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in order.
It's getting in the way of your relationships. It's getting in the way of your work, your studies, your goals, your ability just to feel peaceful and content. And so Piglet, I don't think, has a disorder. I mean, we all get anxious, but not everybody has anxiety disorder.
Correct.
We all get sad, but not everybody's clinically depressed. We all lose our tempers or get angry, but not all of us have intermittent explosive disorder. So when we pathologize normal human behaviors, when we rush to diagnose, we dilute the power and purpose of diagnoses in the first place,
Correct.
which is to provide treatment for disorders that are getting in the way of functioning and living.
Correct.
Now let's talk about Rabbit, who people say has OCD.
Oh, I always thought he was just a fussy...
Man, we're so profane.
And a splash of color.
I mean, a splash of color on a butt, sure.
Pooh's like, what's going on back there? Ooh, what is happening right now?
There, a hunting trophy.
So Rabbit's trying to make the best of his situation here. I gotta give him credit for that. And sheesh.
Tickles.
Oh, Pooh, you mess up my moose.
Pooh, Roo has a little surprise for you.
Flowers.
Honeysuckle.
So this isn't obsessive compulsive disorder. It's obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
Okay.
We'll talk about the difference. But first, I just want to enjoy the absurdity of this.
This is...
It's rather good, I think. Oh, no. Hold it fast. Oh, no, help. Why did I ever invite that bear to lunch? Why? Oh, why? Oh, why?
So I don't notice everything. Our producer just pointed this out to me. When it cuts from Rabbit drawing the squiggly smile because it gets all squiggly because he's giggling, to Pooh's face has the exact same squiggle smile on it. And that's just the fun little bits of detail and little sight gags that Disney animators always sneak into their stuff. They do it now. They did it back then. There's so much detail and love poured into these films. It's super fun to watch.
You mess up my moose.
Kid, he's just a fussy little wiener.
Well, he is fussy, and the reason he's fussy is he's a perfectionist. He likes things just so. And this is the difference between obsessive compulsive disorder and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. People often get them mixed up.
I'm intrigued because I know that there is a difference and I don't know what it is.
It's weird that they gave them such similar names because they're very, very different.
Okay.
They're not even really the same thing.
Weird.
Okay, so obsessive compulsive disorder is I have an obsession and then the compulsion helps me to get rid of it. And so you have people who they have to do things, they have to like tap the door 3 times before they leave the house to make sure that nothing bad happens to them, right?
Or close their cupboard a certain way. Or
Right. So you have an obsession and you have a compulsive behavior that scratches the itch. Now, obsessive compulsive personality disorder isn't about obsessions or compulsions. It's about rigidity. It's about fixation on perfectionism, on rules, on how things should be. It's when people use the colloquial term that another person is anal.
Okay.
That's OCPD. Rabbit, OCPD. Everything has to be perfect just so, and he gets very, very upset. And his peace is disrupted in a major way if, oh, Pooh, you messed up my ass drawing that I was doing. Or...
my moose butt.
You know, he freaks out when his crops are disordered, only for them to land perfectly. And he's like, oh, this is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I should have him help me with my rutabagas, because this is perfection.
And this is also the reason why Rabbit struggles so much with Tigger, because Tigger is pure chaos and Rabbit is all structure. People say Tigger has ADHD. Let's take a look, but yes.
Oh, hello, Piglet. I'm Tigger.
Oh, Tigger, you scared me.
Oh, shucks. That was just one of my little bounces.
It was? Oh,
so
thank you, Tigger.
He introduces himself as Tigger to everybody, even though he's already met them.
For old long ears. Ta-ta.
He forgot about Pooh. If you repeat yourself in conversations or introduce yourself to people that you've already met, you might have ADHD.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing that happens.
Oh boy. So obviously, as we were saying, Rabbit, not a fan. Rabbit's not a fan of Tigger.
Oh dear. Just look at my beautiful garden.
Yuck, messy, isn't it?
Messy?
Messi, it's ruined. It's ruined, Tigger. Oh, why don't you ever stop bouncing?
Why? That's what Tiggers do best.
That's the H, the hyperactivity in ADHD, right?
Things. The tops are made of the rock.
Tigger can't sit still.
Nope. The bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun.
He's prone to jumping from topic to topic.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
So when he pounces on Piglet, if you pay attention, Tigger just leapfrogs from one topic to the next in quick succession. He's just all over the place in about 15 seconds, and then he's out of there. I mean, it's...
Obviously, the writers either had ADHD or worked with someone who had ADHD. They knew this inside and out.
And our editors are very familiar with this. We're so sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So in this case, the internet's assessment is a slam dunk. Absolutely ADHD to the core. The difficulty focusing, the difficulty remembering, the difficulty sitting still, being still. And then just also, it is in fact a disorder with Tigger because it's causing problems. Rabbit doesn't want to be around him. Tigger is going to lose a friend because of this. Now, in fairness to Tigger, this is a collision of OCPD and ADHD, and these two aren't mixing very well.
No, explosive. This is mixing nitric acid with glycerin, right? Like, this is not a thing that goes well in personal relationships. Ask me how I know.
With ADHD, there's two main components. There's hyperactivity, and there's inattention.
Sure.
Tigger often fails to pay attention, and he makes careless mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He's easily distracted. He's forgetful. Like when he says he doesn't know who Pooh is. Like, he's known Pooh for a while now.
He's pounced him several times. He remembers that he's the fluffy stomach guy.
And then with hyperactivity, he interrupts, he talks excessively, he has a hard time waiting for his turn.
And he can't stop freaking pouncing.
He can't stay quiet and he can't stay still. He's always on the go. Yeah. So, yeah, slam dunk.
So ADHD is really interesting. I'm diagnosed with ADHD. Are you diagnosed as well? Or have you kind of self?
I self-diagnosed.
Okay.
I went through the DSM-5 and I'm like...
Yep. I went to a psychologist at the age of 11 because I was failing miserably. Like, it was very disordered. I feel like at this point in my life, I have been able to sort of treat, and I know the things that I need to do to have a relatively neurotypical day.
Yeah.
So I still have ADH something.
But it's not D.
It's not a D anymore. I'm not disordered. Like, I can accomplish life. I just accomplish it in weird ways.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is ADHD there's a host of superpowers that accompany that. And I love that you brought up, like, the D's not there anymore.
Right.
Because with all of these, that's really the goal of treatment is how do we take this so that it's not a disorder anymore?
Yeah.
Like if you got major depressive disorder, no one's saying you're never going to feel sad again. But how can you live a life and how can you experience joy when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to inattention, when it comes to... Rabbit doesn't need to stop being a perfectionist, but it would be helpful if when life happens and chaos happens, it doesn't ruin his day and send him into a tailspin. This is the work of therapy when it comes to mental and emotional disorders. It's not about ridding people of their personalities or ridding them of their emotions. It's about giving them the tools and the ability to manage so that they can enjoy life and live life.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our boy Eeyore, who, honestly, here's the thing. People say major depressive disorder. I would say major depressive something. I don't know that it's a disorder.
He seems to be functioning at life.
I know. Let's take a look.
Christopher Robin lived in another part of the forest where he could be near his friends and help them with their problems. On this summer day, gloomy...
I just love the build of Eeyore. Like, I want one.
...with sawdust had lost his tail again.
Eeyore, this won't hurt.
Never does.
His legs just look like socks.
I know.
There now, did I get your tail back on properly, Eeyore?
No matter. Most likely lose it again anyway.
It is my considered opinion that Eeyore's tail should be placed a trifle to the right.
Now, if you were to ask me...
One question I've had for a long time. Kanga and Roo are named after the animals they are. Owl, piglet, rabbit.
Uh-huh.
Why is Eeyore named Eeyore? Why
so-
isn't he Sad Donkey?
He needed to make room for Donkey and Shrek. Decades later.
It worked.
I think it's because it sounds like what a donkey says. Eeyore.
Is not much of a tail. but I'm sort of attached to it.
Met a real donkey? Like, they are the least depressed animals. They're angry.
They're pissed off all the
real
time.
mad a lot.
Morning, Pooh Bear. Morning, Pooh Bear.
There's a fair amount of
If it
overlap
is a
there.
good morning, which I doubt.
If it is a good morning, which I doubt. Oh, Eeyore. I see you.
Okay. I am kind of on the fence about whether it's major depressive disorder. I mean, the criteria there, he seems sad and gloomy and low energy. But at the same time, we see him out there like he's building stuff earlier, gets knocked down.
He's trying to, help with the rescue.
Yeah. I have a theory that Eeyore's not depressed. He's just a functional cynic. Here's where you could make a case for depressive disorder. He's either sad or what's known as flat affect, where he doesn't really feel much of anything. It's just kind of like emotionless.
This is what happens to me, by the way, when I experience depression. Not common. I definitely don't have a disorder, but along with ADHD, there's frequently correlation with depression there. And I get depressed sometimes, and I just flatten out.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
The reason I don't think it's major depressive disorder is because there's not really a disorder. Eeyore is more than capable of connecting with his loved ones.
Sure.
He doesn't withdraw. He gladly receives support and help.
Mm-hmm.
And when he can, he offers it to others. Like, he's gloomy and he's cynical and he's pessimistic, but he's also just kind of like, he's fine. This is what a lot of people, like on the tail end, no pun intended, on the tail end of treatment for major depressive disorder, some people experience joy and happiness and their lows aren't as low. And some people, their treatment for major depressive disorder gets them to a place of like radical acceptance.
Yeah.
My life's not great. I'm not super happy. I either feel sad or I feel nothing, but I'm also kind of at peace with it.
It's fine.
What I love most about this dynamic, though, is Eeyore's friends are completely accepting of who he is.
Yeah. No one's trying to change him. No one's trying to cheer him up.
Christopher Robin does say, like, don't be so gloomy, Eeyore. But I think that's what a child would say, but everybody else is just kind of like, you're fine just as you are. Mm-hmm. Come as you are. You don't need to change. You're welcome. You're accepted. And I love that. I love that everyone's just kind of understanding and accepting. Now, we don't talk about Kanga and Roo here because there's not really any mental or emotional disorders. We could talk about the stress of being a single parent. We could go into that.
Sure, but there's not enough screen time for them. They don't really have a personality in this one. And I haven't seen any of the other Winnie the Pooh stuff, so I don't know.
I have. I'm a bit of a Pooh stan. And I could...
That's one eye away from just being horrible.
But Kanga and Roo across the board have a healthy family dynamic. So there's not really too much to say.
Okay.
But, good for them. So here's what we want to know. Do you disagree with me on any of these? Let us know in the comments below and let us know why. What's your take on the Poohverse? And would you like us to do any more
Pooh, Blood and Honey Origins? Roo's a sadist.
What
and would you
like to
also
see?
cuddle the
Honey.
out of Winnie the Pooh?
Maybe that's why they call him Pooh.
He's had all the
Honey.
Cuddled out of him.
So until next time.
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, chubby little tubby all stuffed with fluffy.
Don't interrupt. I have a most amusing anecdote. And watch movies.
If you're not on our Patreon, you're missing out on the full cinema therapy experience.
It's not as gross as it sounds.
Oh gosh, we want to thank our patrons, folks like
Aaron and Keddy,
Alice in Wonderland,
Joe Wilkinson,
Rachel Bryant,
and Ayumi Yoko.
Yeah, there was a Y in that Bryant.
That threw you, didn't it?
Threw me a little bit.